What's going on, guys? Arrow here, and guys, I have some big news, and I'm sure you can tell that because I'm posting this video on a Wednesday. I never post videos on the weekdays unless there's some big news, and we definitely have some big news to share today. Nintendo announced that there's going to be a Pokemon Direct on the 26th of February, this Friday, and this is what we've all been waiting for, guys, a brand new Pokemon game, and it looks like we're finally going to get that announced on Friday, and I'm just so hyped right now. We haven't had a Pokemon game since 2014, with the last one being Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and the only game we got last year was Super Mystery Dungeon. We haven't had a main series game in a while, and it looks like we're finally going to get the next game revealed to us. So in this video, I'm just going to be talking about some predictions that I have as to what we might be hearing about in the Direct, and just what I think we could be in store for. So let's get right into it, guys. The big thing that a lot of people want is 7th generation. Yes, this is a big thing that's been on everyone's mind. They're thinking about, is the next game going to be 7th generation? And for those of you who don't know 7th generation, by that I mean, we're getting new Pokemon, new starters, new Mega Evolutions, a new region, everything brand new. We're just going to get a whole new region of games. So, that is one possibility that we might see on Friday's Direct. And, if you've been keeping up with Pokemon news lately, there was a new Pokemon announced in a Japanese magazine, and Pokemon's English name is pronounced Magierna. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. And so, yeah, we haven't seen this Pokemon in any game so far. So that could be a hint as to a 7th generation, according to a lot of people, that this Pokemon is sort of like a Pokemon to introduce us to the next new region. Sort of like how they did with Zoroark. I'm pretty sure Zoroark was in a Pokemon movie. Yeah, he was in that Zoroark Masters of Illusions movie. Yeah, if you haven't seen that movie takes place in like Sinnoh, I'm pretty sure, because it has like Ash and Dawn and all of them in it. So it takes place in Sinnoh, but like it has a Unova Pokemon in the movie. And so I think that's what this Pokemon is kind of representing. Like it's a Pokemon of a new region. It's just in one of these regions right now to be like a bridge into the next new region. Sort of like how Zoroark was a new region, or like a bridge into the Unova region. So that's just me. Also, I want to mention that the last time we had a big Pokemon Direct, guess what was announced? Pokemon X and Y, a brand new game in a brand new region. So maybe that's what we might be getting with this Pokemon Direct as well. There have been some other little Pokemon Directs where they just talk about like developer updates and stuff like that. So yeah, but I think since the last major big Pokemon Direct gave us a new game with a new region and everything, we could expect that in this Pokemon Direct as well. So that's definitely one of those ideas. Another thing that's on everyone's mind is Pokemon Z. Yes, Pokemon X and Y. And, the story in that game, a lot of people say is still left like incomplete. And there's still room for another Kalos game. And so Pokemon Z is what's on everyone's mind right now. They're thinking that the next new game is Pokemon Z, which is also a very good possibility. We don't know if that's going to be the next game either. But yeah, that's a pretty good possibility because I think the anime right now is called Pokemon X, Y, and Z. So, I mean, that's also a clue I guess we can use to say that the next game could be Pokemon Z. I'm not really sure about that, but yeah. And also last year, if you've been keeping up with Pokemon news a lot, then you probably know that we also got some new forms of Zygarde revealed to us. So that could also be another clue that we might be getting a Pokemon Z version, because why would they show all these like cool forms about Zygarde and focus so much into Zygarde if we're not even going to be getting a Zygarde dedicated game? Maybe we might be just getting a Pokemon game with like Zygarde in it. Maybe they could merge like a new region and this like Zygarde story into one. I don't know. Pokemon's really creative with their new games. So yeah, maybe we could expect something like that. And so those are really the two major things that a lot of people are expecting, either a 7th generation or a Pokemon Z. But I'm also predicting a lot of other things as well. Also, I just quickly want to talk about a little rumor and leak. Now, there was a rumor a few days ago about like someone who said that they worked at like not that they worked at Nintendo, but they had like a verified source at Nintendo saying that they knew that there was going to be a 20th anniversary Pokemon game, and that they said that it was codenamed a Japanese word that meant rainbow. And a lot of people were jumping to conclusions that we're getting Pokemon Rainbow version. Now, as much as I really want a Pokemon Rainbow version, and for those of you who don't know what I mean by that, I mean like, a Pokemon game where, you have all the regions incorporated into one game. As much as I want that, I just don't think that that's what it's going to be. And it did say in the article that the Japanese word for rainbow was just a code name for the new Pokemon game, and that could just be Game Freak's way of like disguising the game or getting us thrown off as to what they're actually making. They could just say, "Oh yeah, the code name is called Pokemon Rainbow," but it could really be like Pokemon Z. So we're all thinking Rainbow just so that it throws us off and we don't expect Pokemon Z. So yeah, and I just don't think that we can do Pokemon Rainbow because, how are they going to put Pokemon X and Y into a game like Pokemon Rainbow because they're not colors. We have colors like gold and silver and red and blue, but then we have like minerals. We have ruby and sapphire and emerald and pearl and diamond. So I just don't think Rainbow actually works. But I really do want a Pokemon game that has all the regions in it. That would be like one of the best games ever. I just don't think it's going to happen. I also want a game on the Wii U or just any Pokemon game on a home console. I don't think that's going to happen either. Pokemon's always been sort of the handheld game, and so that's what I'm probably going to think that we're going to be getting next. But it's always worth a shot. I'd always love to see a Pokemon game on a home console, but I guess I can just keep dreaming. Also, another thing that's sort of just like my idea, well, not really my idea, but just something that I want to see is a Kanto remake, And by that, I just want a Kanto game on the 3DS. And some of you may be upset by this or booing me right now because you don't want a new Kanto game. But, I really like Kanto. Kanto is my favorite region of all time. And I just want, a Pokemon game on the DS because from the way I see it, I can play every single region right now on my DS, or my 3DS actually. I can play every single region on my 3DS except for Kanto. If I want to play some Johto, I'm going to get out my Heart Gold or Soul Silver. If I want to play some Hoenn, I'm just going to get my Omega Ruby. If I want to play some Sinnoh, I'll get my Platinum. If I want to play some Unova, I'll get my Black and White. If I want to play some Kalos, I'll get my X and Y. I cannot play Kanto on my DS. Now, I'm sure some of you may be thinking, well, isn't the eShop going to get Kanto's like original game soon? Yeah, I guess you're right, but that's just like the original game. We haven't had, a dedicated like DS game of Kanto yet. And so I think it would be cool to have like a remake just for like the 20th anniversary. A 3DS Kanto game would just be amazing. I'd love that game. Kanto's my favorite region, so that would be amazing. Some of you may want this as well. I don't know. I always love Kanto. Kanto's just my favorite region. It's the first game I've ever played. I grew up with Kanto, so I would love to have Kanto on the 3DS. But I'll be happy with whatever we get. As long as we get a new main series game, I'm happy. And so that's pretty much it, guys. But also, you know, while we're all expecting a new main series Pokemon game, there is some other Pokemon news that we could be getting. And this isn't like main series Pokemon game dedicated. Now, I definitely think we're going to be getting some main series Pokemon games announcement on the Pokemon Direct. There's no way it can't be that. But we could just be getting some other Pokemon like game news and not a main series game. I really hope that doesn't happen, and I'm pretty sure it won't. But we just have to talk about this. We could just be getting news on Pokemon Tournament. I don't think this will happen that much because that game is pretty much complete, and I'm pretty sure reviewers already have their copies right now, and it's going to be coming in stores pretty soon. So I don't know. Maybe it might be talking about DLC for that. Maybe some like new Pokemon or something like that. I don't know. Also, Pokemon Go. That game is supposed to be launching this year. Maybe we'll get like a new trailer, just new information about that game, or some like trailers and stuff. So yeah, maybe we will get a release date for that too. Maybe we'll find out when it's coming out. For all we know, what if they say what if they say on Friday, like after this presentation, Pokemon Go is available? That would be really cool too. But I just want a main series game as well. And also, if you've been keeping up with your Pokemon news, you know that there's also been sort of a Detective Pikachu game that's come out, and that game has only come out in Japan. I don't think we have an American release date for that game, so we might get something on that. Maybe they'll show us like a trailer of that game, and we might get Detective Pikachu our 3DSs as well. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Those are my predictions on Pokemon, for that Pokemon Direct that's going to be happening on Friday. I don't think we're gonna get anything about Rainbow, so don't say that I said we're gonna get Pokemon Rainbow. That was just like a little rumor that I wanted to cover with you guys. But yeah, I think our choices are definitely going to be either a 7th generation or Pokemon Z. If you want my bet on it, I'm probably gonna say a 7th generation. I think it's that time. We definitely need a new generation of Pokemon. I think it's gonna happen. These generations are flying by really quickly. We went from Black and White to Kalos really fast. I think we can go from Kalos to whatever's next now too. And yeah, guys, I think we're going to be getting a 7th generation. But that's just me. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear what you guys think is going to be coming on Pokemon's next new game, or just what are your thoughts on the Direct? I'd be happy to hear and reply to you guys in the comments. So definitely comment down below. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it from me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you like what you're seeing on my channel, please subscribe because it really does help me out. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.